you want to step into the truth of who you are, into your highest potential, then I think it's so important to really observe how other people's expectations of you are affecting your ability to re-identify yourself and to grow. So this is something that I've been thinking about for a little while now, and especially on this walk here, Arlo and I are in France at this beautiful castle, and Arlo's in timeout right now because he has been a little cray-cray, and we've tried this video a couple times because he keeps eating rocks. So now he's on a leash. We're sitting on this table. I wouldn't normally let him sit on a bench table like this, but I don't think very many people are here, so I think it'll rain quite a few times before they ever sit here. And so the idea of other people's expectations on you. There's the book, The Expectation Effect, and it's like how we expect other people to show up and how other people expect us to show up is what really creates reality. Like, we bring out different things in different people, and if we're not conscious about that, like, we can be playing a role. No. We can be playing a role just to fulfill someone's expectation of us. And so we see that so often, like with family dynamics. Like, if you're really close to your family, but they have an idea of you and who you are that's really just based off of like who you were as a kid or whatever chapter of life, and it's really hard to express to them that you're trying to be different, not like change yourself, but like step into more of the truth of who you are. Just chill out, please, huh? Thank you. That can be challenging, and with friends too, with anybody. Like, maybe you have a social media presence and like you've changed a lot, but your niche is, something specific. Like, maybe you're more focused on fitness, but then you go through like a spiritual journey. And so I follow a girl who actually has gone through that, and she had like a whole really successful business that was all about like personal training and counting your macros and stuff. And then I could see that she was going through a spiritual awakening, and she shared that a bit. And she made the conscious decision to take down her business, and she had like hundreds of girls in this coaching program. And so it seems like she took a step back and is now just like embracing all that she is, and a lot of solitude, a lot of meditation, a lot of learning. For her, I guess this is like a good example. I don't ever really plan what I'm going to talk about other than like the general topic, but so she's reading about astrology and all these things, and I just feel, I don't know, but I feel like once she's ready, then she'll step forward into the world with her new ideas and her new businesses and those things. But that this time was really important because she, couldn't continue to grow and be all that she's meant to be in this life if she held on to that old identity of being a fitness coach, of being this successful entrepreneur with like hundreds and hundreds of girls in her program. No more. And so I think that's been really nice to see, because we so often attach to our identities too, of like the things that we've become and that what people know about us. And it can be really scary and uncomfortable to let go of those identities and those attachments, because then we're like, like, who am I without this? But you are not your, any of your identities or your labels or anything like that. You're not. So I used to be a vegetarian for like all my life. Like, when I was 5, I learned what meat was, and then when I was 23, I was at a really tough part in my health journey, and my doctor was like, you have to eat meat. And I don't know, there's so many opinions on nutrition, everything in nutrition. That's why it was really hard being a nutritionist. But I was like, okay, I will try anything at this point. And it's gonna like be very hard for me to leave my identity of being a vegetarian behind, because that's like what I'm known for. That's what everybody knows me for. What are people gonna know me for now? And I realized how attached I was to that. And so now I'm back to a place of like pretty much being vegetarian, but not really calling myself that, because I'm trying to work to get away from like getting too attached to any identities and any way of like creating too many expectations about myself, from myself and from others. And also understanding that it's okay. Like in these videos, I talk a lot about spirituality and like the mind and reprogramming the mind, and a bit about health too. And I understand that that is creating an identity for myself, but I'm still consciously telling myself like that's okay, because like I know now that throughout time, if I change what I'm passionate about, what I'm curious about, it's okay to share that too, because that's where my soul is headed. That's where my soul is going, and that's how I will fulfill my soul's purpose and my soul's mission here on earth. But if we don't allow that, because we get too attached to those versions of ourselves, then we stunt our own growth. Then we stay in these situations that aren't fulfilling to us anymore. Like for example, that girl that I was talking about, I think her name is Caitlin something. If she just stayed in that fitness world, like she was getting really sick. She was having a lot of stomach issues and acne and stuff like that. And I think that that is also a way of like your body telling you like, I can't go on. I can't do this anymore. This isn't for me. You know, maybe it's not just like fitness, like maybe it's you're getting sick in your desk job or whatever. Like I had a job for almost 5 years, and I knew for a very long time that it like wasn't really serving my higher purpose, but I was holding on to it because I was like so much in probably a lack mindset. I was like, this is the only job that will support me, like in working remote while I'm healing and blah blah blah, all these stories, even though my soul was saying something else. And so I got to the point where I was just like having panic attacks and all these things all the time, and I was like, I just physically cannot go on. I have to stop with my allowing of my expectation or other people's expectation of me to be this version, to be this good employee, to be this blah blah blah. And I just have to let go and just trust. And I think that it's really important too to have friends in your life who support you in all seasons of your life and allow you to be different and explore those different parts of yourself. And it's really not about like I'm not saying that like you should change yourself. Obviously, I think more and more we step into ourselves, and that naturally is change, and we step into the truth of who we are. We're remembering more and more who we are through these experiences of sometimes forgetting who we are and going down those paths and experiencing more darkness, more contrast, but also following our curiosity and changing in a lot of ways. And so if you just stay in your environment and your expectations of you, of how you've always shown up, but you know you're trying to step into a new version of yourself, you know your soul wants more, wants to explore something else, like there is that process, that time, that period where there will be that shift, and people will be like, what are you doing? You know, people who maybe aren't as supportive of that, they'll be like, what are you doing? Like, that's kind of weird. And then, you know, you're going to be like a beginner in that season of life, and people might not understand or might not accept you in that. Like, if you think about like influencers, for example, like someone was just talking about this. I'm so bad at knowing names of people and of songs and all these things. I forget her name, and I don't think it's going to come to me, but she talks a lot about manifestation on Instagram. And she was just talking about this yesterday of like, when you start something, like whether it's an instrument or like you're becoming an influencer or whatever, like it's gonna be awkward and cringy in the beginning. And so people's expectations of you are really like what makes that part so hard, because they're like, what are you doing? Like, why are you, you know, especially like in the influencer world, people will be like, oh, she's a wannabe influencer. But when I heard someone say that, I was like, you wouldn't say that about like someone who's training to be a lawyer. Like you wouldn't be like, oh, she's like a wannabe lawyer. No, it's just someone's in the beginning stages of something that their soul is calling them to. You know, all the influencers that I follow, they are doing a lot of good in the world. I'm sure that there's influencers out there who are just like more narcissistic, but it's really just what you choose to surround yourself with. And so I don't think it's a bad thing. I think that the internet is a really beautiful thing. I love the internet because it's where we can grow so much and reflect so much of ourselves through other people and learn and expand. And so anyway, those are the rants that I had for today. Arlo, you were pretty good in this recording. Thank you. And so we're gonna go do our walk. I think this was just coming to me because of the solo travel. Like when I meet people and go to new places where nobody knows me, it's this beautiful experience of like no one having an expectation of me and me getting to just say hello, I'm Araya, and them not having a story, and me getting to just embody all that I am, stepping into. We're all stepping into newer and newer versions of ourselves throughout our entire life. That's just this human experience. And so you don't have to go travel on your own to experience that. You can just, just not giving importance to how other people expect you to be or see you or the stories that they have about you, and just being so strong in the knowing of who you are in this moment and accepting. I think that's the biggest part, is accepting who you are in this season of life, regardless of what other people think about you, how you've been in other timelines and other seasons of your life. Just accepting fully, this is who I am, and y'all can accept it or not, and it doesn't really affect me, because like this is where my soul wants to go. And if I'm always following my soul, then I'm always safe and I'm always going to be okay. I'm always guided. And so that is the message. So we will see you in tomorrow's video. If you like this one, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you are new here, and leave a comment if you feel called to do so. Arlo would like to say, I did my best at relaxing. I hope you all appreciate it. And now my mom owes me a lot of crazy time, huh? Yeah, you want to go be crazy and go run? Okay. All right, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.